Conversion. Before I moved to Val Marie, I lived in Kelowna with my dad in the family home. It wasn't a life I would have chosen for myself, but then I don't imagine anyone sets out to end up living with Dad. I would like to tell you that I volunteered, I rose to the occasion, ran to my father's side when my mother died, but I am not that noble. I am not that charitable. I pretty much crashed on the shores of home, and as Robert Frost once wrote, home is the place where, when you have to go there, they have to take you in. Amongst themselves, my siblings joked that I might be driven to madness or even homicide. But I was well on my way to both, the way I was living. I was despairing, covered in hives, and broke. And Dad and I always had a relationship that was well fraught. But my mother's death cracked us open in ways that filled us with the penetrating light of vulnerability, and we saw each other as two aching souls that life had decided to throw together for a while. Here, said the angel to my father, dropping me on the front step, you need each other. Besides, as I said, I had no choice. I had nowhere else to go. One day in May, my father said something that broke my heart. We were standing at my mother's grave, overlooking the valley, and he murmured, bet you wish it was me instead of your mom. He wasn't looking for sympathy or pity. He really believed it was the truth. Oh, Dad, it's not like that. It's just that I don't know you. Not like I knew her. But now we'll get to know each other. Being there for Dad meant cooking, laundry, and my own relaxed freestyle method of house cleaning, which thankfully matched his own. I hadn't a home of my own for 6 years, mostly due to trying to make a long-distance relationship work with the musician living in Michigan and me living wherever I could work. One of the last conversations I had with my sweetheart before he became my ex was about my dad. So, look, I'm just going to stay for a bit, and I'm just going to help him adjust, and then I'll head back in time for the tour. And you know what? I just want to try and have a relationship with him. I just don't know where to start. I'm not sure what we should talk about. Oh, for God's sake, don't talk, okay? Just watch Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy with him. That's all you have to do. The rest will come. Just don't talk. It's better if you don't. As these things work, it turns I'm all the luckier for having had no choice and the chance to be there for my father, for he has been there for me in his own way all my life. I hadn't counted it the ways he had because they weren't the ways I wanted. My father was a prairie boy too. He was born in Fox Valley. He worked the farm with my grandmother, who had him at 16. My grandfather worked in various places, not always at home. Dad never had a childhood, but he learned to become a good provider, and we never wanted, not for anything. He also went to church every day, and I began accompanying him. It seemed like TV game shows, church, another great way for us to bond without actually having to talk to each other. Eventually, at the sign of peace, instead of a handshake, we went to a hug. And sometimes even, love you, Dad. Love you too, dear. The word. So I arrived in Val Marie with a carload of books. There was one particular book I kept close on the passenger seat, tucked into my knapsack, along with my journal and a paperback collection of the sermons of Martin Luther King Jr., and a book of daily reflections. For 7 years, this book has called me and cowed me, fascinated me, driven me nuts. And so it was time to give it another try. It was loaded with the language that makes it at times impenetrable, irritating, and embarrassing. And it's also full of gripping accounts of Canada's first days, with all the major players, and flashes of heroism performed by nursing nuns living in what was then called the most dangerous and exciting city of the New World, Ville-Marie. I read a lot after my long-distance relationship ended, actually. It's what I do. Some people drink, other people drown their sadness in Oreo cookies and old movies. I read.